Hi, good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this video talk. So I will be presenting and pointing.
Sorry about that. There you go.
So I will be showing some of the main features of the our access point GWN7610. I will also log into one of the test GWNs that I have set up here just to show how easy it is to install and auto provision and manage as well. So the GWN access point is a wireless access point that facilitates wired and wireless access to your network. And it's really easy to centralize. You can manage it pretty easily. It has a built-in controller that allows you to auto-discover and provision other access points to work as slave access points. One of the things that you need to know before installing our access point is the first one that you access via web UI is the one that becomes the master. And then any other discovered and auto.
这个修理啊，是以前早期在这个玻璃博士馆这边早期有一个修理，以前是一个修导演。那这个修理曾经在这边跟一个修士谈恋爱，但以前教会不怎么样。修理。
If there is anyone who has their audio on, please be sure to stay muted as you are interfering with the audio of the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so these are the main features of our GWN access points. So it's really a mid-range wireless AP. It supports up to 250 Wi-Fi clients, and it has a 1.75 gigabit wireless throughput and 2 gigabit ports, built-in ports. The range is 175 meters, which is about 580, I would say, feet coverage range. And then it supports MIMO 3x3. So this is a technology that can crank up your speed up to 450 megabit per second per stream on your Wi-Fi network. We will talk more about this. Advanced Wi-Fi security features, as you can see, will support most of the encryption algorithms that we have nowadays. It offers simultaneous dual-band Wi-Fi signals. That's due to the multiple antennas that are built in the access points. Embedded controller, so you don't need an external controller, so it's really built in, and it allows you to auto-discover and provision the other access points with a single click. No need to wire or add external controllers. And you can auto-provision and manage up to 50 other GWNs. And like I said, the range is 175 meters, 575 exactly feet. SSIDs is 16 SSIDs per access point, and the network speed. So dual band Wi-Fi with a maximum throughput of 450, and that's thanks for MIMO. That's for the 2.4 gigahertz. And then if you're using the 5 gig, it can go up to 1300 megabit per second. And you will see a feature called band steering in the access point web UI. We encourage you to use that so that you can use you can give Wi-Fi connection to different stations or different clients that have different type of network cards, 802.11n or B or A, and that would not slow down the clients with faster antennas. So that's the band steering, and we will show it in the web interface. Anti-theft, so that's just a physical mechanism, if I can call it so. It's the cancel lock, so that's just an physical anti-theft. And a client access, you have over 250 concurrent clients per GWN. These are just the standards we support, which are basically the known Wi-Fi standards: 802.11a, b, g, and n, and then we have AC as well on both bands, 5 gig and 2.5. And like I said, we encourage you to use band steering so you can bind both without slowing down the newer clients with the newer 802.11n Wi-Fi cards. Encryption algorithms, we support WEP, WPA, WPA2 with pre-shared key, as well as WPA Enterprise, and as well as WPA AES, and then TKIP as well. So one of the most important features that we try to point out is the built-in controller. No need for an external one. So the access point itself, all it needs is get an IP address from an external DHCP server, and then you have an embedded controller that can that allows you to auto-discover and provision the other access points that can be added as slaves to the master, which is the first one that you access via the web interface. And we can do a little demo of how easy it is to access and provision and manage our GWN. So the first thing you need to do is just discover it on the network, log into it, and as you can see, remember that the first GWN access will become the master, and any other ones that will be listed on the web interface, as you can see, their access points will be added as slaves, the one that says online. And then you create a password for to securely access your network connection, and then you can connect additional GWNs, peer them to the master. It's pretty easy to set up. We have a landing page for coffee shops, or if you want to set this up in a any kind of business, or so this is a landing page just for people to access the Wi-Fi and agree to the terms. And these are just some different scenarios that you can accomplish with the GWN. So multi-floor offices, multiple branches. You can even use or connect multiple GWNs via VPN through a router, which is the VPN server. And I'll leave it to Dorothy to this last page, so she can point out the important features that we have with the GWN compared to other manufacturers.
Great, thank you, Fareed. Yeah, so I'll go over a quick comparison just so you guys are aware of how the new GWN7610 will stack up against our competition. And after this, Fareed will go into a live demo of the user interface so you guys can see a few more of those features as well. So to dive into the competitive comparison, basically what we want to show is that the GWN7610 is a very feature-rich and very competitive new device. It stacks up very well according to the rest of our, just a moment, we'll reconnect here. Hold on a second. There we go. Alrighty, let me just reconnect to that current slide. All right, here we are. So basically, the GWN7610 has 2 gigabit network ports, which leaves it as very compatible or competitive against Ruckus R600 and the Ubiquiti UAP AC Pro. We support PoE and PoE Plus, which of course is a very desired feature, and we're glad to be able to provide that. Our throughput is very strong as well and is very competitive against the other two at 450 megabits per second for the 2.4G throughput, and 1,300 megabits per second for the 5G. As you saw earlier that Fareed presented us with, the Wi-Fi standards are the same across the board, so no matter what, you've got all the options that you need. And then simultaneous client devices. The GWN7610 can support over 250 simultaneous clients. That's more than Ubiquiti and about half as much as Ruckus. But as you'll see, as we work our way down this competitive comparison, that is really one of the only areas where the GWN7610 is a little bit lower than the Ruckus R600. The range of the 7610 is also very high at 175 meters. Ruckus is at 180, so just 5 meters difference, and Ubiquiti is at 120. So you have a very, very large range here with our device. You can have up to 16 SSIDs per radio. And of course, we have that embedded controller, which Fareed will show us in just a moment. That is something that Ubiquiti does not have and is very unique to the GWN7610. We do also have a USB port for external devices, and we have a very comprehensive list of Wi-Fi security. So that means, whoever's connecting in, you can ensure that all the data and everything going through the access point is incredibly secure. We also do feature anti-hacking software because, as we know, security is a very, very important aspect in all of our data, whether it's Wi-Fi, wired, or anything else. We want to make sure that we're providing a very secure device with added anti-hacking firmware. There's also a integrated Kensington lock into the back of the device. This is just to make sure that it's very difficult to steal. We don't want anyone grabbing 7610. We know it'll be in great demand, but we want to make sure that our users have that locked in and won't be stolen. And lastly, we're bringing you down to the MSRP, and this is something that is very outstanding for the GWN7610. The MSRP is $129, and in comparison to our two main competitors listed here, it's incredibly inexpensive in comparison to Ruckus at almost $800 MSRP and less than Ubiquiti as well. So this is an affordable and very feature-rich and comprehensive Wi-Fi access point solution. So now what we'll do, I'll actually pass it right back over to Fareed for just a minute while we switch over our laptops here, and Fareed will give us a live demo into the web UI of the GWN7610. Up to you, Fareed.
Okay, so let me just plugged in one of the access points and found it on my network. So just accessing the web interface here. Default password admin. Of course, we encourage you to change that. And then the first thing that pops up is the setup wizard, and we encourage you to do it. It helps you get through the basic installation. If you happen to lose it, just go back to the wizard shortcut, and it just basically shows you the MAC address of the access point that you're currently on, and then you just hit next, and then you can change obviously the SSID here. You can say talk test, and then it shows you here the MAC address. Of course, for this SSID, when you come back again to this page after you set this up, you will see different MAC addresses. Then you can add whichever MAC address, whichever access point to this to work as a slave within the same network, which is the same SSID, and then you hit complete, and you have now set up your SSID, and you can see that the controller was refreshing, and then network settings as well, and then you give it a second, so it does all this, and then now if I go back, I should see that network available on my Wi-Fi on my computer. I can access it from here, or I can just skip, still access it from the wired connection. Just refresh here and go to access points. I can see this current access point as the master. Whenever you add additional access points, they will be listed below the master, and it will not say slave, but it's just going to say online, and we will show that. I have already a network set up. I will toggle to that network in a bit instead of taking time and adding additional access points and clients. So if you have anything connected wirelessly to this GWN, all the clients will show here. It will show you the throughput. It will show you the MAC address of the device, the host, the manufacturer, the IP address, and so on and so forth. You can ban certain clients, from accessing this network. Let's say you want to create an additional SSID after you add different access points. Let's say you have 5 of them, 2 of them will work as the main office, and then you want to have a guest network. So this is where you segregate, where you separate them and create different networks and different SSIDs. So you just go and create a network, and then you go to Wi-Fi, create an SSID, and here's all the encryption keys that you have and encryption types and so on and so forth. And then you have the device membership. Do I want to add? Right now I only have 1, but if you have 10 of them, you want to create different networks with different SSIDs. One of them is going to be guest, the other one is staff, and the third one is visitor or guest network. Then pretty simple to configure and upgrade. If you want to reset this device or move the same configuration to another access point, you just go to System Maintenance. Right now on the latest firmware, we give you the option to actually upgrade directly just by uploading the firmware file to through the web UI. You can upload a configuration that you can download from another access point, or if you download it and you want to reset this device, you can just go ahead and re-upload that configuration file. No need to point no need to have a configuration or a firmware server so you can point it from here. I mean, it's optional. It's up to you. You can do it that way. You can upload an XML config file if you're pointing it to a server. So not upload, my bad. You just put it, if you set a password for the XML config file, then reboot the device and it will authenticate and grab the configuration file. And then finally down below you have the alerts and notifications. So the blue ones are just, it tells you kind of the logs of the access points, and then you have anything more important or more severe as logs, and then you have the red ones that are actually require your attention. And for the debug, you have ping and trace routes, and then routes, and then you have the core dumps, and then the capture if you want to take a capture, and if you're doing any type of troubleshooting. Of course, we will have more in-depth trainings on the device. This is just a video talk, so we introduce you and present the product. So let me just switch back to a different network so we can see how it actually looks like with all the clients actually configured or connected to the wireless access point. I'm accessing here a different. So I'm accessing an actual GWN that has a second access point paired to it. So the only thing we didn't do is, the process of linking another access point. It would show here, and you just say link, and it will come below the master, and it says online. This is another GWN working as a slave, and then you have the Wi-Fi, and I can add another SSID if I want, but there's only two. There's only two of them, 2 access points. There is no point in linking them together if you want them to work as separate SSIDs. This will be needed when you have more than, I would say, 2 or 3 access points. Then you can have 2 as the main Wi-Fi, and then an additional guest network from additional SSIDs. And then here you have all the clients that are connected to it, the MAC addresses and the IP addresses. The the radio shows you whether it's on 5 gigahertz or 2.4. Here it's mixed. You only see one SSID for this network, but the reason why is because we enabled band steering that allows you to that allows both the newer wireless antennas to work with the old ones, the old standard, without slowing down the newer ones. So that's thanks to this feature called band steering. And let's see if there is anything else in the web interface. The rest of them is just basically, we will obviously support more languages, and then the refresh time is 15 seconds. And then you can look up MAC addresses or IP addresses on the web interface here from the search button. Clients, system settings. Yep, that's basically all I have for the web UI presentation. And like I said, we will have more in-depth training on the product. And thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much, Fareed. So we're going to switch back, and now we will get into the question and answer session. So I see a lot of questions already coming in through the chat. Feel free to keep sending them. We may not have time to get to all of them today just because we have so many questions, but if we can't address them live, we will be sure to send a full transcript with questions and answers to everyone's questions in a follow-up email. We'll also send you guys the presentation so you can have that for your reference. Alrighty, so let's get started, Fareed. So, first question, is it really possible to connect 250 devices to one AP?
Theoretically, yes. So, the answer would be yes. If we advertise it, that means yes.
Yep.
We connect 250, of course.
Yep, great. And can you explain how the embedded controller works? I know you just gave a good review of that. I don't know if there's any other things you want to touch on in terms of the embedded controller? Well,
the embedded controller is just what I can say at this point for this presentation is just it allows you to auto discover and auto provision additional access points.
Great.
But how it works, I don't think he meant the technical details. But like I said, we will have more trainings to talk about that.
Yes, definitely. And we'll make sure everyone who's attended this video talk will also be alerted to when we have those the full in-depth webinar training so you can get even more information. Next question, is there zero handoff between different access points? So in this sense that there's no break in the connection?
So this particular network that I set up here for our office, you can roam from one access point to the other one without even feeling it.
Great, thanks. Let's see. Next question. Can the GWN7610 be added to other existing networks that already have other brands of APs deployed on that network?
It depends, but I would say the auto provisioning will not work. It's only in between the access points, but obviously you can add it as an additional access point. There will be no issues with that.
Great. Wonderful. Let's see. Alrighty. So we did already discuss the zero handoff. Let's see. Is it possible to restrict a user or group by their speed or by speed and the access they can gain through the AP?
No, I don't think that feature is available yet as of this firmware version. No, didn't see that.
Alrighty. I do believe that is in the works, though, for future development. Alrighty. And then another question. Can a UCM be used as the configuration and firmware server for these devices?
Answer is yes.
Great. Nice and quick run through them. All right. Can each AP host multiple SSIDs? Say a fast one for employees and a slower one for guests.
I guess that's like the previous question, and I don't see any type of kind of a QoS. No.
Okay.
I would say no.
Great. Let's see. Next question. How do you discover the access points? Do you have a software program to figure out what the IP addresses are?
To discover the access point?
Yes, when you have multiple.
Oh, you just, like I said, the first one you access is a master. And then from this menu on the overview, actually the access points, if I have any other access points on the network. They will just show on the access points menu that I showed, all of them, and you can just add whichever you want to the master that you're accessing via the web UI. You will see all the information, including MAC address and IP address as well, and the firmware version. Great.
Wonderful. Thank you. Let's see. Some of the last questions here, we did have some wondering if there will be new models arriving. So this is our first wireless networking device, but we do have others in the works for the future, both routers and other access points. So we will be teasing out more information about those in the near future, just like we did with the GWN7610. So do keep your eyes out for those. Not available just yet, of course, but we are developing them now. Let's see. All right, a few more questions and we'll wrap up. And then, of course, all of those that we couldn't get to live today, we will send a full Q&A transcript. So you'll have answers to anything we couldn't get to live. Let's see. So next question. Does Discovery work over multiple subnets?
No, it works within the same subnet, no.
Okay. And for the landing page, is that an optional feature or is it required?
Is it required? It's not required. No, it's not required, I would say.
Yeah,
no.
It's a completely optional feature, and it's a customizable feature. So if you don't want it, no need to throw it in there. Just extra for those types of businesses that would find that useful.
Yeah, the one I just showed doesn't have it.
Right.
I didn't set it up, so.
Wonderful. Alrighty, so looks like we're done with the majority of the questions. We do have a lot more on here that are a little bit more specific, so we will get more answers for you and send out the transcript of the Q&A. So thank you very much, Fareed, for giving us this in-depth view. I know they're very highly anticipated device, something that we have been teasing out for the last couple months, so I know a lot of you are excited to see it. We will be releasing it in the next couple weeks, so keep an eye out. We'll send out an email blast when it's ready, and you can get in contact with your Grandstream distributor or reseller to place an order. If you don't have a distributor or reseller, simply reply to our follow-up email that we'll send with this presentation, and we'll be sure to connect you with one so you can get your hands on one of these. So yeah, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Fareed, for being here with us, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're joining us from. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.